what is the sporting culture like in Hong Kong? Like, so I grew up in the U.S. where it's like, like high school sports and stuff is really pushed, and it's like, oh, do you really do, like, there's a big sporting culture. I don't know, but I've heard different stories from different people where like sometimes people push you more towards cram schools and stuff. So can you talk a bit more? Just because we have like an international audience, right? So like, what do you think the sporting culture like is in Hong Kong, and how would you describe it and stuff?
Yep. So I guess like barriers to enter sport, because it isn't as accessible or that big a part of the culture, is obviously still like a little bit of an issue. Like financial barriers will always be an issue to get into sport unless things are democratized more easily for people to access sports more in more areas of the city, not just people with deep pockets. That's always going to be something that could be worked on. I think, given that, as you said, cram schools is more a part of the culture, and I guess riding off of that, like doing a sport just for the sake of it, or doing an art or a hobby just for the sake of it, just because it looks good on your CV or your school applications. Unfortunately, I think like that might be part of the culture still, like at least when I was growing up. Like, but I think there is room for it to obviously change, and it has been changing where people are learning more about other sports, and I think like as the entertainment value and like video games and other things come out more, more kids kind of see that there are sports, and like having, like, for example, a woman on a FIFA video game cover for last year that EA did, like that was a change, and that was a change I think for the whole world to see, especially like over here, like for a woman to kind of see like, oh yeah, like women's soccer is a thing and women's football is a thing, and it's at a global level. So I think like although it's not a huge part of the culture here as much as I would have thought it would have been, like even going to university here, I thought, oh, this must be it. Like this is when it picks up, right? Like this is when sports becomes, a bit more legit. I just found out like it's, again, just a seasonal thing, and it's only a part of, like the experience. It isn't like a very big part of the experience. But again, it's as big as you make it be, right? So even if like, varsity sports isn't as big here, you could still kind of make many things happen within that little school university club and stuff, and make it more impactful or make it more inclusive for other people to come try out sports, even as a taster. But I'd say it wasn't like quite the experience that I thought it would be, like looking at, obviously like social media, like overseas sports, and, you hear about varsity sports, especially in America. I think you then get quite real about how the level difference is quite, vast. But I think it also then starts back from grassroots where, you could have been doing 10 different sports, or like even 3 different sports, individual sports and team sports. And then you just become a lot different as, an athlete, as a person. And there's different skills you would be picking up that could help you later on when you progress in sports further. But I think like, I hope I'm answering your question, but I mean, there is like a huge difference, I guess, between standards and like how embedded it is as a key part of culture. And hopefully like people will see more value in it, like parents as well, and will be able to access it, I guess, a lot more than currently can.
I think what you mentioned really about the disparity, like especially in a place like Hong Kong, I think one thing, speaking personally, right, is like when I'm back in the States, like I can play tennis at a public park. It's actually very easy, right? You just play anytime. It's super easy to just go to a park and just play. Whereas in Hong Kong, it's not super open. So I definitely personally have like seen and kind